We've all seen the movie The Matrix. It was interesting and fun on the big screen of the TV, but has it become a bit too real in your own life? Are you seeing glitches in the Matrix and trying to figure out what's happening? Have you been told that you've been tricked and that you need to fight against what they've done to you? The deception. Whether you're just beginning to notice, or if you've been searching for a more peaceful and congruent way to live without battling them, you're in the right place. I'm Ken, and I'll be joined by Eliza and Raina Stella. Let's explore together on the Liberty Ark. So we're back for week 10 to the Liberty Ark Podcast. Eliza and Raina Stella, nice to see you both.
Nice to be here, guys. Good to see you.
All right. Episode 10 is going to be Reclaiming Autonomy. So we're getting into what to do about this mess we got ourselves into, kind of gently working through the process.
Financial literacy as a path to freedom. Financial literacy is a cornerstone of breaking free from the cycles of debt and control. Understanding how money works, how debt is structured, and how to properly manage one's own estate and its affairs effectively empower individuals to take control of their destinies. By becoming financially literate, individuals can make informed decisions that align with their goals and values, rather than being manipulated by the systems designed to keep them in perpetual debt. Legal awareness and self-advocacy. Just as financial literacy is crucial, so too is legal awareness. Understanding the legal frameworks that underpin contracts, debt, and obligations can demystify the processes that keep individuals bound. Advocacy is also crucial. By supporting initiatives that promote transparency, fairness, and economic justice, we can work toward dismantling the structures of control that perpetuate inequality and bondage. Self-advocacy in legal matters means knowing one's rights and how to protect them. This can involve learning about consumer protection laws, understanding the implications of signing contracts, and knowing how to seek legal redress when necessary.
Okay. Let me get back to that first page there. So, who has some thoughts here?
The big word, autonomy, reclaiming autonomy. I'll let Raina Stella. Looks like that you had a comment there, but that got me right from the beginning. So I'll let you take it away.
Well, in general, what you read fully definitely is just another tool, right? And it's a big one. It's a big tool they use. But yeah, having the ability to make our own decisions is huge. And I think that's so far from our discussions in the past is really where we want to lead ourselves and you into is making sure that we understand that we, as we're waking up, should understand that we should be able to make our own decisions and not allow someone else to do it for us. So I think reclaiming autonomy is really big and huge for us to understand, for us to move forward on this topic that we're discussing today.
I would bring up one of the words we've used in the past, which was influence. Autonomy, to me, means looking at all sides and making your own decision from that. What we've discussed is that many of the decisions that we make, we probably aren't even aware that they're not really our decisions, because we've been influenced to make the decision that we make. So There's nobody holding a gun to our head or putting chains on us, but we're still restricted mentally in how we approach things and how we think about things, but we're not aware of it. So it goes back to that the best slave is a slave that doesn't know he's a slave. And I think what we're talking about with autonomy here is expanding our awareness of, are we making our own decisions, or are we being influenced by things, people, sounds, programs around us that are limiting our own freedom to truly make a choice and not just choose the choice they gave us.
I agree. And the word when it the last sentence here where it mentions literacy. Literacy right now we're not aware. We all think, well, we can read, we're aware, we listen to the news. Literacy means going in and seeking comprehension, reading, and seeing what is not readily available. Well, it is. It's hidden in plain sight in order to comprehend that autonomy that is available to us.
So I think the majority of us, when we hear financial literacy, I think we're going to think about budgeting and saving our, that's the way people may comprehend financial literacy, but it's really more what we're talking about on this conversation in regards to that topic. It is really learning about the hidden rules of money, the so-called money, credit, interest, contracts, which we talked about contracts in the past, taxes. And the big one I feel is like how banks play the game. That's the understanding that we would love to share on this conversation when it comes to financial literacy. I think a lot of us, and me included, growing up, I learned how to budget and how to save and how to save to invest and how to invest. I've lost a lot of appetite in those categories because I'm more focused on the internal, like the behind the scenes role that everyone plays in those categories. Because again, I'm trying to, as we go through this great book, right, that Rebecca and Jonathan created or wrote, I want to be able to understand it deeper by the time we get to the end of this book. And we have to get away from, we need the basics, but we have to go in deeper. And that's where I feel we're going to be able to break the financial literacy control that we have today.
I'll go a little out on the edge on that one. Just when I was growing up, there was a nice development about 20 miles from where we live, and my cousin, who was an accountant, bought a house out there, and he paid $100,000 for that house. And I was like, holy smokes, that's freaking crazy. Why would anybody pay $100,000 for a house?
That's a lot of money.
Yes. And I'm old, but I ain't that old. But that was a lot of money to pay for a house. And now, what could you get for $100,000? And his was in a really nice new development. So something causes that to happen. And we just write it off as, oh, that's inflation. But we don't think about, why does this happen? What causes the value of money to decrease, which is really what happens instead of the value of the asset increasing. The asset's just the asset. But the stuff you use to buy the asset is what decreases in its value, so it takes more of it to buy the same asset. But they've got us all tricked to think, oh, the value of that thing is going up. Price of it's going up, but that doesn't mean the value of it is going up. And there's a reason why the value of the stuff we call money goes down, making the price of the stuff dramatically go up. I don't know how deep we want to go into that.
Well, it's foundational for us to understand exactly that example, right? It's foundational. That's one example. Because school never taught, right? They never taught us to really talk about those topics, right? How to navigate and understand why that happens. Going back
and I've got a 4-year accounting degree and worked in accounting for 8 years, and I didn't know it.
And we're still learning it, right, as we go.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But why is it they don't teach it, right? And it goes back to, it's really up to us to search for that information. Wake up and search and really dig, because there is a point behind all of that. The reason they don't teach it is because if we're ignorant, they can manipulate us.
Yep. And that's the right choice of words. Ignorant. It's not stupidity, it's ignorance. And they keep us ignorant on purpose.
And we have to also know anyone can learn it. Anyone. You don't have to be a genius. You just need to be willing to wake up and really make time and dig and ask questions and study. Everybody, anyone can learn it.
Jump in there, Eliza.
I agree. No, just
you got to do more than agree. You got to talk to us.
I'm trying here. It's such a simple comparison. To say that house back then, and it took 20 cows in exchange for the house. And today, it's still 20 cows to exchange for the house. Now, back then, the cow was worth, say, $5,000 a piece. It's an expensive cow back then, but $5,000. But today, that cow may be worth $50,000 to buy the cow. You see what I'm saying? It's still going to be 20 cows to buy the house. But both of those have jumped in value of money, of the currency. So I think that's a great point to bring out, is like, was there an increase in value? No. Of the trading assets? Or was it just the currency price we attribute to each? And why? And who's in control there? And who, moreover, who benefited from that inflated price? That's the big question.
Who benefits? That's the big question.
Follow the money.
Exactly right.
So yeah, the system is designed to fail, is what it really comes down to. It's purposefully designed to inflate. They print more and they print more and they print more, and they don't even have to print anymore. They just put digits up on a screen. And the more of those digits there are, the more of those digits it takes to buy anything.
And again, the financial literacy for so many people, where the financial side is not their background. I think eyes just roll back on the head and saying, that's not something I can jump into. It's not that hard. Financials are not my background either. We're talking about comprehending the system, how the system works, not necessarily throwing a bunch of spreadsheets. It's how the system is working to gain some literacy. Literacy being comprehension, and that being a cornerstone of breaking free from the debt and control cycles that are there. So if we can focus on some simple understanding that you both are talking about, we ourselves and each one of us can proceed forward and actually seeing what we can do.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next one. Boy, that's interesting how debt is structured. Now, what's debt got to do with money?
Well, it is a tool that's used. Actually, debt is a tool that's used, and it can be. It is used to control us, but if you learn how to use strategy with it, you can also benefit from it, right? But it is a tool. It's a tool that's used in the system to manipulate us and control us further. So
we almost have to define the word money to make that sentence make sense, don't we?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And
here we go.
Is debt money or is debt currency? It's like, here we go.
Let's keep it simple for like the average person here.
Everybody thinks that money is the opposite of debt, right? Because you use your money to pay off your debts. So you think. Right?
Yes. But for us average people, let me just start with this and then you can continue.
Okay.
It is, generally, right? Money is something our energy, right? We wake up every day to do it, right? We use our energy to earn it,
mm-hmm.
and then we use it to spend it. That's what the average person is going to, by default, fall into money. That's what money is. We earn it, we spend it.
Yeah, and money as a flow of energy is, I think that's an advanced concept that most people can't even get to.
Well, breaking energy down again, I just said it, we wake up every day to clock in at 9 a.m., work. Mm-hmm. In order to work, we need energy. We get that coffee, right? And we have energy to produce 4 hours before we break, and then we break and then produce another 4 hours of energy to complete our day. 5 o'clock comes, we're on our way home. So that 8 hours was energy that we created to be able to produce and earn the money that on Friday we will be spending. Mm-hmm. That's how I would, as an average person, see money or define money. But I know it goes deeper.
Yep.
So Liza,
but again,
and Ken,
I think you're already with that conversation. I think you're already well advanced over most people. I don't think people see it as putting your energy into something and grabbing value from that energy. I just think that's beyond most people's way of thinking. They look at it as a thing that they have in their hand here that has an innate value in it. Right?
True.
But that paper
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that paper or that digit on your screen has no innate value in it at all. It only has perceptual value. If somebody else is willing to exchange it with you for something, that's how you determine the value. You're putting the energy, storing that energy in that money that you got in your hand, and then you're passing that energy on to somebody else for something they've put energy in, and the trade occurs. But the actual thing, the piece of paper, is just a piece of paper. But we believe it to have value. And so we agree to utilize it as an exchange mechanism.
Yeah, and I think off of that we can take, okay, let's kind of agree on like defining money. Money is something that we all agree has a perceived value. It can be gold. It can be this paper thing. It can be a cow. But it's something of perceived value that can be used in transactions. That I give you this if you give me that. That's the money is what has the value in the exchange. Now, what money really is in today's society, what we're told money is versus what all the different kinds of money, like I say, it could be the paper, the cow, the gold. What are we being told that money is today? And is it really money? And perhaps that money is just something that the system is then changing around on us. It's not really the value we think it is. And what underpins what that quote unquote systemic money is.
And why does the value of the money go down? Why does the value of the money consistently decrease,
right,
causing prices of things to increase? Right. Is that an accident?
Don't think so. Don't think so.
So money is another topic that we need to really dig into to understand what it really is.
Mm-hmm. We could spend a couple of podcasts on that, I bet, very easily.
And it'll surprise us once we know.
Mm-hmm.
Once we know what money really is, we'll be shocked.
Yeah,
it's not what we think it is.
Money, how that money relates to debt. What we're told is the most common form of money. Obviously, it's not going to be cows. Okay, what we're being told, this money that keeps losing value, and how is that related to debt? That's in itself is very hard for me to give a simple explanation of, but I think it's highly important.
And if you wanted to control a society and keep them stressed out, what would be one of the best things to control? Can't hardly beat the money system as a control mechanism, can you? Causes lots and lots and lots of divorces and all kinds of relationship problems and business problems, and everybody wakes up in the morning and the first thing they think is, have I got enough money to make it through the day? And it's just a worry topic on everybody's mind. And people that are afraid and worried are much more controllable than people that are relaxed and comfortable.
Do I have enough money to make it through the day? Imagine the people that already know that by the time they get that money on a Friday, it's already gone.
Yeah. And not only is it gone, you've got credit cards you got to pay that you've already used money that you don't have.
And is that money that I am retaining, that little bit, am I aware that that is actually decreasing in value while I hold it, and why?
And a lot of us do go day in, day out, again, using our energy to clock in at 9, clock out at 5. And we are unaware that dollar we earned, or that $100 we earned that day, is no longer $100 by the end of the week. It's worth a lot less. It pretty much what you guys are saying, but in a different words. I don't think a lot of us even think about that. We're too busy working. We're too busy with our busy life. And again, I think we've spoken about it in the past. That is intentional. We are to be kept busy. We are to have a busy life, to not have time to put thought into these topics and dig further. But it's all up to us.
The internet's interesting because it's made communication a lot easier. And social media, with all its faults, actually has some values, I think. And it's pretty common for people to share a graph showing the decrease in value of money, of our U.S. dollars over time from 1913, when the Federal Reserve created them, basically, until now. And you usually see it's like decreased by 97% of its value. And it's probably worse by now, because those are probably 2 or 3 years old, and it's changing so fast now. It's probably gone down a lot. But I mean, that's bizarre to think of, isn't it? That a dollar now is worth 97% less in its ability to trade for stuff than when it was produced in 1913.
That's crazy. It's scary. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But
it means something all that time ago that you paid $1 for. Basically, you're paying, 100 times that now.
Mm-hmm.
$300 for today.
For the same thing.
$1 for a pair of shoes. Now $300 for a pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then when you add it to, when you buy those pair of shoes with a credit card, now what happens? What happens now, right? Now, and then is that the reason why? Is that the reason why they hand out credit cards? Like they're every store you go to, even if it's a grocery store, they're pitching you on a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they want to give it away, right? The funny thing though, we do fall for it, right? We do fall for it. It is debt is a game of leverage. And like we've said, who benefits from that? The devaluation of money, but then adding it to a credit card. And the crazy and the funny part is when we do sign up for a credit card, it's a freaking 30-page plus agreement. They want to hand it to us like candy, but the agreements are extensive. They're long. Do we even sit there and read it? Or do we just sign up for it?
Or they're on a computer to where you can't even hardly see the letters, and nobody sits and reads through that. At least when they were on paper, you had a higher probability of reading it because it felt real. But now it's all done online, and it's so easy to just scroll through that thing and put your name at the bottom.
Right. And even if you do read it, because it's written in a special legal language where the terms aren't necessarily the common legal terms,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the common English terms, they don't mean the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your eyes roll back in your head to say, what does this mean? It's just easier to check the box and sign.
And you want the credit card, and you only get it by signing that, right?
Yep. I've been guilty of that.
And it's so easy to sign. Yeah. And we're so quick to sign. It's so easy to sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
We think it's like nothing. Yeah, I'll sign.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's the 30-page agreements, 30-plus page agreements. They are getting more than our signature.
They cover their bases, don't they?
And it's on everything. It's whether you want to use Facebook, you want to use any type of social media, it's any of your apps on your phone. Well, I have, 30 apps on my phone. All of them have agreements. And if you want to use the app and someone's saying, well, I'm trying to contact you, but I need to, connect with you that way. Like, well, I need the service. And we tell ourselves, and in many cases it is true, that I don't have a choice if I'm going to operate in society. So that's it's another contract. Some contracts are a bit more, shouldn't say lethal, but a bit more, have more consequences than others. But it is all contracts. And we have to make the choice of whether we want to contract or not.
That's right. That's right. And remember, financial literacy is more than just budgeting, saving to invest. We need to know how interest works. We need to know how repayment works. We need to know the legal identity of these contracts. We have to start opening our eyes and making sure we put the time into really understanding what it is we're doing. Because I don't know if this is a proper word to use, but usually that signature that we're giving, it's trapping us. It's a trap. There's a lot more to it. So we need to stay informed. We need to dig for the information as we're realizing that it's not just, I can quickly sign and get that credit card.
And a big part of that is understanding to some degree. I don't want people to think they have to really dig into it deeply, but to some degree start becoming aware of the mechanics of the underlying mechanics of money, where it comes from, how it's produced, because that's where the control comes from. If you're just sitting out here as the end user and you don't understand how it's occurring at all, you're going to get abused without understanding why you're getting abused. We'll probably, I'm sure as we move forward, we'll get more deep into that without getting terribly complex, and the geeks can take it a little further if they want to holler at me.
Can I just say, this? Oh, go ahead, Eliza, go ahead.
No, I just was concurring that I love baby steps. I love the term. I say, okay, baby steps. What's a first basic thing I can do on a fundamental level? And we'll discuss those kinds of things because that's what we're here to share, I think. And
just to trigger, right? To trigger something, and then you take it away. No one's going to come to save you. You need to do it yourself. But what I wanted to say before we go to the next slide is it's meant to be confusing. It's meant to keep us confused. It's meant to keep us broke and stuck, right? But when we really start thinking outside the box, we are more than that. We're meant to be here to build, to own, and choose our own path,
and to be creative.
Yeah, and it starts with us. I guess the word is decoding what's been hidden from us, and again, it's all up to each one of us. We're just here to plant little seeds.
That's right. I'm going to go to the next page. I mean, that one pretty much sums up what we've been trying to say today, don't you think? By becoming financially literate in the way we're describing, not just in knowing how to do budgets, individuals can make informed decisions that align with their goals and values. That's autonomy. Rather than being manipulated by the system designed to keep them in perpetual debt. So the system loves you to be in debt, right? Because you pay the bank's interest if you're in debt. They make the makers of the money make money off of you from the debt. But autonomy is not being manipulated and instead having the ability, which you have to have understanding in order to have the ability to make a free, informed decision that fits your goals. And you've got to learn in order to make that happen.
Yeah, and I think we need to look at financial literacy like as a strategy more than like numbers or math or digits. Look at it as a strategy. And that may, people being afraid of getting into the numbers or the spreadsheets or whatever we mentioned earlier, it's a strategy to improve our situation.
And I think if we can take, we talk of baby steps, that in everything we're talking about that autonomy is us, who we actually are, operating an account. How are we understanding, I like to say comprehending, what is this account? It's bank accounts, it's maybe a government, relationship account, whatever account that is, and how are we grasping our autonomy in operating that account? And we'll discuss this more as we go forward, because that's what we're talking about
Account
here.
is such a great word, and you plugged it in here at just the right moment. And so I'm going to throw one of Reina Estella's little approaches in there.
She's so good.
Just something to think about. And you may think this is absolutely nuts, but it's true. You think you have a bank account that you've deposited your money into. But that's not how the banking system works. They pay you interest not on your money. They pay you interest because they're renting your money from you. Because you give away ownership of that money when you give it to the bank, and they keep a record of the loan you made to them, and that's recorded in what you call your bank statement account. But that's not your money. That's the bank's money. The bank takes it and earns through investment on that, earns a lot more than they pay you in interest for renting your money. And the worst part is if the bank goes down, we now know you're a unsecured creditor of the bank. So as long as FDIC functions, you're probably okay. But it's not your money. You've loaned that money to the account or to the bank. There's a record of your loan to the bank in what you call your bank statement. Now, most people are going to think that's crazy, but it's really how it works. And we'll get deeper into that at some point. Maybe give you some other places to search and validate that information.
And in
It's
that
interesting,
97
right?
pages. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Eliza.
No, I'm just saying in that 97 pages of fine print, it actually says you're loaning them their money. They're paying you for the use of 0.01%. But if they happen to lose it and it's not insured by FDIC,
oops,
then you agreed. You agreed that they're not liable. And so these accounts are these, whose accounts are they? What different kinds of accounts are we talking about? We have Social Security accounts, we have bank accounts, we have this account. They're all called accounts. So how are we relating? What is our relationship to those accounts? Thank you, Reina Estela.
And isn't it funny that it was just our signature that we gave away where we were okay with that? And so some of us might be asking, like, what do you mean I knew about that? Well, you knew about it the moment you signed. You signed that you knew what was on those 97 pages. So it's funny that as Ken explained it, to me, it's a shock to know that when I make a deposit at the bank, I am loaning it to the bank. It's no longer, in a way, it's no longer my money at the time. I'm going to get interest on it, but it's loan to the bank. And then they take it away and make more money, massive money on it, and we get pennies for our own money. But what I was also going to add is it's interesting how what they pay us when we loan them the money, what about when we turn and ask for a loan? Right? What do we have to pay them? And the difference that we have to pay them for a loan they provided to us. There's a humongous difference. It's very unbalanced, right? We loan it to them and we get pennies of interest, but then they turn around and loan it to us, and we have to pay hundreds of thousands.
I'm going to say this. We are at 40 minutes already, so I'm going to say let's stop there, and we'll go do that other half next episode. What do you guys think?
I was enjoying it so much.
I think this is a lot of meat.
It is.
I was about to say, okay, account. So is the bank account really ours?
No, I actually said that. I said, is it our bank? Yes. And that's where I said we haven't, and then we have these accounts.
Yeah. But see, you said it
as,
you said it so smooth that it flowed, right?
Yeah.
No, emphasizing is the bank account really ours?
Yeah, exactly. Because we're a holder. But I mentioned the social because we've got to go there. The social isn't us.
Yeah. Even the phraseology, we have an account. It's true. That's what you've got, an account. You don't have the substance of the stuff in the account. You have an account record. You have an account record of something that somebody else has, is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. And it's not our account. It's been assigned to the SSN.
It's an account in your name, but it's not your account.
Holder. We hold it. That's how we're listed. We're a holder. It's the bank's account.
Exactly. So I'm going to close her out here, and we'll get back with it on episode 11 next. You guys have
I wish we could stay and do it all right now. It was great.
No end to the fun.
Yes, it was.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, much love. Bye-bye.
The views expressed in this Liberty Ark podcast are for informational and educational purposes only. They do not constitute legal or tax advice, and they may not reflect the official positions of anyone at all, really. We want to express our appreciation to the authors of the unpublished manuscript titled The Great International Heist, on which the Liberty Ark podcast is based. Rebecca and Jonathan Rodrigues, the authors, provide courses that go into much greater depth and are available at libertyarkpodcast.com/White Rabbit.